the answer to yet. Let's take a look at the things that we do know, because there's a lot to keep up with, as Alexa just mentioned. Former Seattle star Jewel Lloyd and former Las Vegas star Kelsey Plum will be changing area codes. The 3-team deal sees Lloyd become an ace. Plum will join the Sparks. The number 2 pick in the draft is going to the Storm. Now, the Phoenix Mercury, they shook things up significantly, trading for triple-double queen Alyssa Thomas. Phoenix is looking to reboot in 2025 after getting swept in the playoffs last season. And I mentioned Alessa Philippou, our girl, reporting just this morning that the 3-time W champion Natasha Howard will sign with the Indiana Fever as a free agent, returning to that franchise that drafted her. But we have to get back to what's happening with the Mercury, because in one of the biggest moves in the W, Brittney Griner no longer in Phoenix. Instead, next season, she'll be taking her talents to ATL in a video posted on social.
This is just some special. I'm just streaming for you guys. It's the WNBA free agency special. Angel Reese does play later, so I am going to be streaming that, but I just wanted to bring you guys this as well, okay?
BG on the move.
So nobody's playing right now. It's just this free agency special.
And is a champion, 10-time All-Star, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, and 2-time scoring champion. She leaves the Mercury with several career records and is in the top 5 in their franchise's history in points, rebounds, blocks, assists, and double-double. So, Chene, Rebecca, I'm going to start with you, Rebecca, on this one. When you think about what you saw when Brittney announced this, what were your thoughts on the move?
My initial thought was that it's a really curious pairing with Brittney Griner and the Atlanta Dream, especially now that they've also added Brionna Jones. And the reason for that is the Atlanta Dream have a new coach, Carl Smesco, who had tremendous success at Florida Gulf Coast. And when he was at Florida Gulf Coast, he played a pace and space kind of offense. 5 out, spread you out, take a ton of threes. In 6 of the last 7 years, Florida Gulf Coast finished either first or second and made threes per game. So I'm really interested in the fit, the style that they will play, because again, he wasn't really a coach that worked around a dominant big kind of center who is going to take care of that paint. So interested to see what BG and Jones look like for the Atlanta Dream.
Very interesting what Rebecca points out. So how do you see, Chene, BG impacting both sides of the floor for ATL?
You guys, you know, when there's a big trade, we have to go to the big board. I mean, she is the biggest surprise of WNBA free agency, especially considering Brittney Griner. She's the second longest tenured player in the WNBA. She's a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year and also a 2-time scoring champion. And we all know how dominant BG has been in her career. I mean, take it from me, y'all. That woman is hard to guard. Guarding her, Christine, was a struggle. But you know, I'd like to bring some numbers to help and explain. But first, let me show you guys what she does on the court. So on this out-of-bounds play, they're going to try to get BG into some space. So quickly, she makes her way to the left side of the court. Y'all, look how much space she commands. Bam. She's posting up. By the way, y'all, this right here, it may look even, but this is 6'9" versus 6'7". But what I love here is once she catches the ball, look at the eyes. Everyone is looking at Brittney Griner. Boom. All right. Of course, she's going to demand double teams. Double team's going to come. It's going to come too little, too late. Turn around, especially when you're late. You have to force the ball out of her hands. Otherwise, she's one of the most efficient players in the WNBA. Now, that's offense. Y'all, we know she's a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year for a reason. Defensively, watch this. She can play drop coverage. Typically, when it comes to drop coverage, where's BG? She's right in the middle of the lane. All right, here. A lot of people, when you get a look like this, you probably think, Derek Hamby, no shade here. You probably think, okay, I should shoot this thing. Nah, instead, everyone knows you can still get blocked, so she goes off the dribble. And then here, this is a good advanced move. Good players have go-to moves. Great players have counter moves. On that counter move, it was not good enough because BG is able to swat. Y'all, she gets almost 18 points a night. That is 11th highest all time. She's also, get what? 3rd in blocks, but most importantly, she has the 2nd highest field goal percentage in WNBA history. So Christine, Brittney Griner is a walking bucket. Look at those numbers, .562 career field goal percentage, and that is walking into Atlanta. And lastly, I'll say this, how will the fit work? A lot of people have played against the Atlanta Dream and they like to run and gun. They like to go fast. BG, she's efficient. I think she can keep up. Unrivaled is a good example. It's 3-on-3, so I think she's getting a taste of what it's like. They have 3-level scorers of Ryan Howard at the 1, Alicia Gray at the wing, and now you have BG in the center. They are absolutely loaded.
It's going to be very weird seeing her in an ATL jersey, but I think the other thing to point out, you mentioned that she's one of the longest tenured players in the WNBA. Also, the veteran leadership that she's going to be bringing to that ATL team is going to be huge. Let's toss it over to our reporters roundtable as they break this down a little bit more.
Well, so we talk about BG leaving Phoenix. It seems like yesterday the big three built around Diana Taurasi, Brittney Griner, Skylar Diggins-Smith. Well, likely they're all gone. We're still waiting to hear about Diana. She might be teasing us a little. Is she really, truly done? We'll never say never till she tells us for sure. But this is a big hole now for Phoenix. And I think that it's really interesting. Alyssa Thomas comes there, but they have been trying for the last couple of years to put all of their eggs in a certain basket, preparing for when Diana Taurasi retires. And I know they've been wanting to go all in on Satou Sabally. So how do we see Phoenix trying to fill out their roster now, depending on if they get Satou or if they don't?
Well, yes, it's a big, I guess we could say like a unicorn-sized question that is looming in Phoenix. But yes, Satou Sabally has met with Phoenix and she's met with New York. So there's a decision there for her to make. And that's really going to broadly determine which direction the Mercury go. Now, Dawana Bonner's a player that could also be in the mix for the Mercury to get, especially with her fiance, Alyssa Thomas, now joining the team via trade. So I do think with Alyssa Thomas, you're going to have a player that can do so many things on the floor. You're building in a way around her, but the Satou question is going to determine a lot of things moving forward too.
And BG, she took meetings. She became a free agent. What do you know about BG's plan?
Listen, the Phoenix Mercury just had a conversation in terms of how they wanted to play basketball-wise that Brittney felt was not going to necessarily be focused on her. And I think that's where she decided to open up free agency in a way that, you know, it was an amicable parting, but she feels very loved and appreciated by the Atlanta Dream. She had a meeting with Carl Smesco, and Rebecca pointed out the right thing. He's never played this way. But he's also never had a player like Brittney Griner. And in that meeting, Coach Smesco said to her, listen, I've never had anyone like you. We can adjust our system. We can adjust how we play because we have you now. And that Brittney was comfortable with the way they were going to adjust how they play. And it's good to feel wanted.
Absolutely. And good to feel wanted. Satou Sabally would likely be the cornerstone that Phoenix builds the rest of their roster around, let's be honest. But New York, she can play with her sister, Niara Sabally, her former college teammate. So there's a lot to consider in choosing between these two franchises.
If you want to watch Angel with us later,
so we know a lot of things are going to look different, right, in Phoenix. BG's gone. Waiting to hear about what's going to happen with DT, as they were just talking about. AT is in. Rebecca, what are they getting in Alyssa Thomas?
Well, they're getting a player who is perennially, an MVP candidate. She's a do-it-all, kind of a unique player who Connecticut built their system around a couple of years ago. This free agency is going to be really interesting when it comes to thinking about the Phoenix Mercury and what they could look like this season. If they sign Dawana Bonner and Satou Sabally, this is absolutely a team that could finish maybe in the top 4 or 5 and be a contender. If they don't sign either of those two, then they only have a big two with Alyssa Thomas and Kalia Copper. So what happens in the next couple of days in terms of who they can bring in certainly will impact in a huge way the fortunes of the Phoenix Mercury.
Rebecca's so polite. She don't want no puppy. She want a big dog. Alyssa Thomas is a big 100%. Dog. And I know that this decision for Alyssa to leave Connecticut was not easy. Right. We both got drafted the same year in 2014. And I absolutely loved having her as a teammate. She plays the game the right way. She does not take, she got some feistiness in her. We all know. You know what's crazy? For someone who is so quiet, she lets her game do the talking. And sometimes things get a lot of physical. I don't say a little. I say a lot of physical when it comes to AT. But she honors the game the right way. She plays hard every possession. She is so unselfish. You see that she's a walking triple-double, career triple-doubles 11 in the regular season. For her to make this decision, I know it was not easy because she's synonymous with the identity and also a great star for the Connecticut Sun. But now this is a new beginning for her in Phoenix. And AT, I'm very happy for you.
Okay, the Phoenix Mercury haven't won a W championship since 2014. What do they need to do in order to get back there?
Get some pieces. They need more pieces, most importantly. But I do think that there's an identity shift, right? BG was someone you could rely on, throw it in there and get you a bucket. But now they're trying to play fast. That's the future of the game. So this was a good piece in securing that future.
We'll see what other pieces they add to the squad. Coming up on the WNBA free agency special, the Las Vegas Aces just made their biggest gamble yet, trading Kelsey Plum to receive Jewel Lloyd. But does it make them better, or did they just deal away their winning hand? We break down the Blockbuster trade. Caitlin Clark already changed the game in Indiana. But with Natasha Howard joining the mix, is a championship run inevitable? Rebecca, Chanae, they're going to debate on that one. And the New York Liberty's first championship banner is going up, but with free agency shaping things up, are they still the team to beat? Let's talk about that next.
The WNBA Free Agency Special is brought to you by Delta, the official airline partner of the WNBA, and AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
AT&T has a new guarantee because most things in life are not guaranteed, like common courtesy. Really, bro?
So if you don't know, Angel Reese will be returning to the PMAC. She will be playing in a preseason game with her team, the Chicago Sky, at the PMAC. Kim Mulkey had some comments on it. She said, "We are excited to host a WNBA game in May featuring the Chicago Sky and Angel Reese. Angel played a major role in establishing our program at LSU, and I know our fans are going to be excited to have her back in the PMAC. She had such a great rookie season, and we can't wait to continue to watch her thrive in the WNBA." So shout out to Angel Reese, the Chicago guys. Camila Cardoso is going to be at LSU, going up on the same side of the scoreboard. Like, it's going to be crazy. The last time Camilla was there, it was a war in the PMAC. Like, it was an all-out war. So shout out this. It's gonna be a blast. I'm going to that game. Like, I have to be there in person. Like, that's when I'm gonna have to sit down and just be able to just enjoy as a fan, because I am. Oh, what a night it was. So yeah, this is the official day. It was supposed to be on her birthday, but it is officially May 2nd, which is a Friday, and it's gonna be at 7 p.m. Tickets go on sale February 17th. If you guys are interested, set yourself a little reminder, if you guys wanted to get tickets to that, because that's gonna be a good game. And it's versus the Brazil national team. You guys know that Camila Cardoso is from Brazil. Okay, so we had ourselves a game in the PMAC last night. Here's some other news. Flau'jae Johnson and Michaela Williams are the only teammates in the last 25 years with at least 25 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists against Associated Poll rankings opponent. So that is the stat line for you there for them. What a great duo 12 and 4 are when they're both popping. But ADR was my player of the game last night. The screen that ADR set, I mean, ADR just had herself a time last night. I did restream that game. If you guys wanted to see that, you're able to. But yeah. How do I just go to my profile? Oh, right here, profile. Okay. And it's still, this one's still not ready yet. So I want to show you right here. This whole, oh, I thought it was gonna, but I just shared a whole bunch of stuff at ADR. I'm so proud of her. So she got the body on Bears, arms up, holding it, gets the ball, does the right pass, not too far above, and gets it stolen, gives it to Michaela. Michaela pushes it up. And then she also did the, well, this is back.
This is in a
Let's
multi-team
watch
move that
this.
sends
We'll
three-time All-Star
definitely be
Kelsey
back,
Plum
okay?
to the Los Angeles Sparks. This was the
You guys
first
gotta
trade
get
in league
tickets.
history
Marquise
involving
Bailey on the thing. I ain't
multiple
say all
number
that,
one
Bernard. I
picks.
ain't
Now,
say
this
all
trade
that. I said
really
Camilla
shook
and
things
Angel.
up, to say the least, impacting Vegas, Seattle,
Camilla
Los
and Angel.
Angeles.
I don't
Rebecca,
think Marquise
what is your
on that
biggest
cool.
takeaway
Not
from this
sure. It's probably
blockbuster trade?
respect, but competition and winning.
How kind of even the whole trade happened to be. I mean, especially when you look at Jewell Loyd coming into Vegas, is a very similar fit as Kelsey Plum was. 2 years older, but she's a player who has championship experience, knows how to play with stars. Their numbers are very similar. So to me, it was a win for all three teams. LA gets Kelsey Plum, and this is an LA team that has a lot of talent in their front court, really needed some experience and leadership in their backcourt, able to get that, and then Seattle to get the draft pick. So this was one of those moves you saw involved some big names, involved a big draft pick, and you thought, all right, that's a win for each of these teams.
Yeah, for sure. And here's the thing that I think about when I think about these women. They were huge for their two teams, not only on the court, but just in what they meant for their identity of their franchises. Chene, from your perspective, what did Jewell Loyd and Kelsey Plum bring to their new squads?
All right, come on over here and make sure you grab your popcorn because it is time to dig into this mega deal. Now, this was a highly calculated shakeup. Let's break it down, starting with Jewell Loyd heading to Las Vegas. Now, we all know Jewell Loyd is one of the best scorers in the WNBA, volume shooter with championship pedigree. She has the, check this out, 4th highest points per game over the last 4 seasons at around 19.8 points per game. Again, 4th in the WNBA. During this span. Gold Mamba, she definitely gets buckets. So let's look at how she gets it done on the court. Okay, here we go. Yeah. She is a bucket getter here. She's got Sophie Cunningham on her. That's like 2-inch difference, a little hezzy. Okay, tough mid-range, my favorite words in basketball, and one son. That's what she's able to do. But she's also, we all know, Mamba for a reason, a clutch shot maker. This is Dejanay, y'all, Defensive Player of the Year. So her ability there is going to be huge, especially considering that Jewell Loyd is in because Kelsey Plum is out. So let's head over to where we are, Los Angeles. Their new star guard is one of the best three-point snipers in the W. She has made 362 threes, which is the third most in the last 4 seasons. Plum, one thing I like about her, though, we talk a lot about the threes, but she's also a playmaker. That's what happens when you play with Asia, when you play with Jackie, when you play with Chelsea. You find your teammates. She will need to do so, especially in Los Angeles. And we all know this is her bread and butter, though. 3-point specialist. I've heard some stories about Plum. She be in the gym shooting that thing.
I can imagine, yeah.
You know what? She shoots for a long time. She's one of the hardest workers in the WNBA. And to get Plum, the Los Angeles Sparks, they had a very tough decision to make. So now to complete, our situation, now they have to build around young stars in Cameron Brink and Rickea Jackson, but they also had a decision. Do they want to get to the playoffs? That's why they got Plum. Yeah. That allowed, though, the Seattle Storm to get the number 2 pick. So, assuming that Paige Beckers goes first, that leaves the Storm with their choice of some goodies. Olivia Miles, y'all see, I saw her in person here in LA. Yo, that girl is dangerous. We also have, of course, Kiki Iriafen talk about this city. She's fantastic as well. And do not sleep on the internationals. Dominique Malonga from France. I saw this video at 16 years old, a dunker, a future. People compare. I hate to do the different league comparisons. They're saying things like shades of Wnba.
Oh, wow.
For Dominique. So, yeah, that is breaking down one of the biggest trades we've ever seen in WNBA history. And everyone, in some ways, came up a winner.
It's just hurting me a little bit to not see Kelsey in an Aces jersey and not see Jewell in a Storm jersey. It's going to be so different.
You're going to be fine. You're going to be all right.
It's going to be crazy. Okay, let's talk to our reporters to talk about it a little bit more.
But what they both bring to their new franchise is championship pedigree. And the sources I spoke to in Los Angeles, they said Kelsey Plum had very specific questions as she was asking about what the vision was for her in LA. She wants to win now. She brings that dog mentality that will transform their very young roster. And I know that you really believe Kelsey Plum's a great fit for LA.
Yeah, and I think for her, this idea, they are hoping mutually that this is a long-term partnership beyond just 2025. I know it's a little confusing because these players are technically on 1-year deals, but the ideal is that she can stay in LA. They can build something special with Rickea Jackson, with Cameron Brink, and with, her friend Vierica Hamby too. So that's something that is really exciting in LA. And I think also Kelsey Plum could maybe help attract some free agents.
Well, they're finally going to invest a major sum of money, from what I understand, in building a new practice facility. I know Chene is listening to me over there saying, I remember where we used to practice.
I needed an ice bath.
Junior colleges. Finally, they're going to make a big announcement in the next couple of weeks here about where that's going to be, the exact location. But finally, the Los Angeles Sparks are going to invest in this team and invest in the infrastructure around them.
And I believe that ownership has invested. They have gotten a superstar coach in Lynn Roberts. They've committed to her long term. And they are still going to be very active in the free agent market. We're going to see some big names coming to LA, maybe in the next couple of days. That's a little teaser, but we're still waiting for the Satu domino that could impact those trades. I quickly wanted to say this about Seattle. Sources there are very optimistic that they could re-sign Nneka Ogwumike. I know her sister's on the set, so we'll leave her to break any news. And Gabby Williams, don't forget Gabby, maybe the most important free agent this summer, coming off her star shining in the French Olympics. So I think that we need to keep in mind that she's been cored. Seattle has Skylar Diggins-Smith. They are building some really great pieces to go along with that number 2 pick. So Seattle, Sky's looking great, and they've got their new practice facility.
Well, I think
it's built. It's already built.
If you, well, let's go back to the Aces too. Is like for them to get Jewel Lloyd in this spot. I mean, that's a whole new super team there. They also met with Brittney Griner in free agency. She chose to go to Atlanta instead of going to the Aces, and they're still trying to land another big alongside Asia Wilson. So they're not done yet either.
Perfect.
Chanae,
Hold on. Wait, I was just on the phone with my sister.
Do you have any questions?
No. We ain't ready yet. We ain't ready yet? Oh, yeah. You know what?
So nothing to say about Nneka staying in
Look,
Seattle.
I'm number 2. She does it on her time. She does it on her time.
Okay.
But she got a plan.
Listen, Chanae the other day posted on social media, she was trying to give us some info when it comes to everything happening in free agency, but all she kept saying is, I know all of the backstory. I can't talk about it right now.
Yeah, I got the backstory. They got the reporters roundtable got the front story. I got the back.
Okay, I do want to talk about the Sparks a little bit more because Kelsey Plum, she's now in LA, right around the corner from where we are right now. How is this fit, Rebecca, when it comes to Kelsey in LA?
I think it fits really well. I was a little bit surprised that they gave up the number 2 pick because Olivia Miles will be in this draft, is projected to be number 2. That could have kept LA really young, lock her up for more than just 1 year. But you do have a young core of terrific post players. And adding Kelsey Plum brings that experience, championship experience, as Sinead mentioned, brings that dog mentality. And I think it's important for us to make sure everyone knows. We keep hearing players signed a 1-year deal and a 1-year deal. Everyone is signing 1-year deals to take them through this coming season because then the CBA is up. This free agency show next year in 2026, when
crazy.
Everyone is a free agent, is going to be absolutely crazy. But just to make sure people understand why everyone is only signing that 1-year deal.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about the Sparks because, as I mentioned, you are a part of the Sparks team.
Correct.
You know a lot about this team. How intriguing are the Sparks moving forward if we just look at them for this 2025 season?
They're so much more intriguing now that Ramona out here said that they are getting plans to have a practice facility. I'll tell you that. That was
So
the
do y'all
number
wanna watch
one
the
knock
rest of
on the
this or no?
Sparks. The
'Cause I
fact that
couldn't
they were like,
agree.
all right, all
We
these
can come
other
back
teams,
later.
whether it's Phoenix, whether it's Seattle, whether it's Vegas, are investing in their players in this way. That is now the standard in order to attract free agents. And now that they're moving that direction, I think that's great. And then also like the Sparks organization, you know, it's been challenging, especially when it comes with the carousel of coaches, hopefully finding stability to be able to lead this group. I know it's a hard decision parting with that number 2 pick, especially considering you had the same timeline, but I think they want to give the fans something to root for, particularly when it comes to the playoffs, because I think the last time they were in the playoffs was when things went crazy. My final year when we were there. So I think it was like 2019. Things were crazy. They're trying to reclaim. I know Rebecca knows. I told y'all. It's the backstory.
That's what we like to hear from Chanae,
Yeah,
obviously.
of course, yeah.
Okay, so as we know, the free agency period goes, tomorrow is when players can officially sign with teams, right? 7 hours, 35 minutes, and 43 seconds. That is the countdown right now as we look to players officially signing. Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, they're coming off historic rookie seasons, but do the sophomore phenoms have enough help? We'll break down the free agency
Time
moves
magazine,
out of Indiana
Oh, wait,
and
sorry, I
Chicago. That's
can't.
coming
They're
up
about to
next
talk
on our
about
WNBA free
Angel.
agency special.
Number 12. Turnover. Number 3 for Oklahoma. Michaela Williams at the free throw line. Juju Watkins, of course, the star for USC. 6-0 run LSU. Found it. Zay Wilson gets the screen. Back to Michaela Williams. By herself. Miracle Shepherd gives LSU a second chance. Weaving in! Williams flashing in the corner. Michaela Williams hit
for the 3 and turning the ball over, going against what has worked so well early in this quarter.
Richard in trouble, the double team coming. Michaela Williams sneaks open. And now Michaela Williams. hits the career highs. 8 seconds. Michaela Williams off the screen.
I know when I hit a shot early that it's going to be a real thing. As soon as the first one fell, I know when I hit a shot early that it's going to be a real good game for me. So.
You did tell me that.
Oh wow!
This is your cake.
We can't light candles in here because it's a fire hazard, but we're gonna pretend they're lit.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, this is your cake. Before we sing happy birthday.
Oh my goodness.
You said that if your mortgage was paid off, that you would retire, or you won't work, or you can pick if you want to work still. So your mortgage today has been paid.
Say, oh,
you dropping the cake.
What?
Today your mortgage has been paid. You ain't gotta worry about your mortgage no more. And if you want to still work and keep yourself, if you want to keep yourself busy, you can keep yourself busy. But Jamel has it handled. Shout out to Jamel to making it happen, and Janine, of course.
My
but
God.
Your mortgage is paid. I don't know if are you still gonna work? She's done with work, but your mortgage is paid, and you don't gotta work. You don't have to work anymore.
Are you serious?
Yes. And when I move to Chicago this year, actually, I'm getting a house, y'all. You can come stay with me whenever you want to. So you.
Oh Lord Jesus.
Okay.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, sis. You worked hard.
And exceeded the hype. Caitlin Clark was the top pick and had one of the most prolific rookie years ever. Clark won Rookie of the Year and set rookie records for points, assists, and triple doubles. Now, over in Chicago, the Skyscrapers tandem of Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso did some serious work in the paint. Reese set the WNBA single season rebound per game mark with over 13. The duo had 4 games where each posted double doubles. That is a WNBA rookie record. And right around the corner from us, in downtown LA, the Sparks had their own stellar rookie duo with Rakia Jackson and Cameron Brink. Brink was a shot blocking force before her season-ending injury, and Jackson scored the second most points by a rookie in team history. So we know the rookie showed out. Caitlin Clark led the Fever to the playoffs for the first time since 2016. Clark now gets Kelsey Mitchell back. And today we got news that Natasha Howard will be with the Fever. So Rebecca, do you think that the Fever, big question here, are they title contenders?
I think they're one piece away. I think they're one piece away from being a title contender. I think adding Natasha Howard puts them potentially in the top 4. Now, if they could sign, say, Nneka Ogwumike or Satu Sabali or even Dewana Bonner, I would put them in the championship conversation. But they haven't done that. But they have certainly improved by signing Howard. She, to me, fits their system beautifully as a rim-running stretch 4. We know Caitlin Clark is the best get-ahead passer in the WNBA right now. Howard will run the floor. Howard is outstanding in the pick and roll. We saw how good she was doing that when she was in Seattle. What else does she bring? A massive amount of experience. Remember, all the conversation for Indiana going into the playoffs last year, first time they'd made it since 2016, was how little playoff experience they had. You see, now they have 33 games. In that first playoff game against the Connecticut Sun this past season, they had 0 playoff experience from their starting 5. Howard brings playoff experience. She's won 3 championships with both Minnesota and Seattle. So to me, she's a huge, huge piece for them. But in terms of a championship, I think they're still one piece away.
Okay, one piece away, but that's still huge thinking about how long it had been since they made it to the playoffs. So how dangerous is this Fever lineup, Jeanette?
I have to get up because we got to give the people what they want. This was a game-changing move, and I agree with Rebecca. They are still a little bit away. They finally made it back to the playoffs, but to be a championship team, they might need one more piece. But let's dive into this Indiana Fever roster, starting with their backcourt. I want you guys to look right here. This backcourt, I'm not going to lie, y'all, is lit. You've got Caitlin Clark, who made history, right? I'll get to her later. later. But Kelsey Mitchell just made a choice to re-sign. She averaged 19 points per game, and she's electric. I love her ability as a scorer. So this was a big win already for the Fever. Now, when we look back at this lineup, now let's talk about the post players. Aaliyah Boston, you got two right here, rookies of the year. Aaliyah Boston, I mean, she's a walking double-double, right? So important for them. They also have depth, hopefully retaining Melissa Smith. And if you look at this, when we go to the post position, as we rotate around, we could even potentially see some depth here with Natasha Howard, averaged 17.6 points per game in her heyday, and also, most importantly, 11 points per game when it comes to the paint. So she is really good at running the rim and also providing depth at the post position. But they could go big. I hope this works. This is what will be scary for the league. If they decide to have a lineup like this, you got Melissa, you got Boston, you got Natasha, you got Kelsey, and then you got Caitlin Clark. And speaking of which, when we talk about Caitlin Clark, everybody knows her name and everyone knows her game, but you need players that can really shoot the ball and really finish for her to make history. She already did it last year, as you can know, with her passing, right? Set a WNBA record in assists, but I just cannot wait to see what else she has in store. Because one thing we know about Caitlin, she be lurking. She be going to, she goes to sports events, but we know she stays in the gym working on her game. So I'm very excited with the move so far that Steph White has made with her roster. For more on this, I'm going to send it over to Holly Rowe.
Sinead, we know you're just walking around because your gold dress is fantastic. That's the only reason you're getting up and down like this. Come on now. But really, I'm here in my hot corner because I'm hot off the press talking to Kelsey Mitchell today. Kelsey Mitchell has proven that she can be electric playing alongside Caitlin Clark. Averaged 22 points a game this past season, and her re-signing with the Indiana Fever is huge for this franchise. She was drafted by them. This is where she's played her career, and she wants to see the fruits of her labor. I asked her why she re-signed. It came down to three key components. Number one, this was a decision she made in step with God. She puts it on his shoulders. She is a very faithful young woman. Number two, Stephanie White made a lot of time to connect with her while she was playing in China. Despite the time difference, Stephanie was making sure to connect with Kelsey overseas to make sure that she saw the vision that Stephanie White has for her. More plays for other people, making plays, putting her in space and helping her succeed. Kelsey knows that she will bring out the best version of herself and her family. They can drive an hour and a half to be there in the stands. She lost to her father last year, and she wants to make sure that the rest of her family can be there and see her along the way. Alexa, I know you have got more on the Indiana Fever.
I would definitely be looking out for how the Fever move forward in terms of filling out their wing position. We talked about Wnba Bonner as maybe a good fit, and that's a player that they would love to get. I think Wnba Bonner probably has a lot of suitors, but there is a possibility that that's something to keep an eye on. And then they also want to continue to fill out their bench. So we'll have to see how those moves kind of fill out moving forward. And now I'm at 2 seconds, so that's all.
I like that Holly also wanted to show off her fit.
I was going to say it's hot.
That's exactly
it's
what just
hot
happened.
Corner for a reason. My girl stays hot, especially pretty in pink. We see you, Holly.
Okay, so the Fever have made a few impact moves this offseason, and the odds makers see them as one of the more intriguing squads of 2025. Caitlin Clark has the second shortest odds to win league MVP. That's behind A'ja Wilson, and the Fever have the fourth shortest odds to win their first title since 2012. So we talked about whether or not they were a title contender, but Sinead, you said they're a few pieces away, one piece away.
Yeah.
What is their ceiling this season?
I mean, to really make a run in the postseason. And first, I think the one factor that they have to retain is potentially Melissa Smith to get, value. You never know what could happen with other free agents. If she stays, their depth is there. If she goes, you have a couple more holes to plug in. But we saw them really make strides in learning on the fly. This was a very young team for a long time. We talk about Kelsey Mitchell. This is her 8th season. She's the longest tenured member of the Indiana Fever. She has the ability to put her jersey in the rafters. So does Caitlin. They're building a core that will compete in the future. Maybe not necessarily to rival the Aces and the Lynx and
this season,
the Liberty now.
Season,
They're getting close.
One piece away.
Hey, sis, they're knocking on the door.
Okay.
They're knocking on the door, right, Rebecca? They're knocking.
Yeah, of course. We'll see what they're able to do this upcoming season. Coming up, the New York Liberty are coming off their first championship in franchise history, but do they have enough to go back to back? New York, stand up. That's next on our free agency special.
El Derby de Madrid on ESPN+.
The big rivals meeting in the derby.
Two rivals, one La Liga title race.
Stay set.
LSU by one.
Stay set.
Williams for three from the point. It's good! It's good! 4-point game. Oklahoma. Rosario Boston. She's got
Go
it.
get your layup. Go get your layup.
Johnson to the hole. It's good.
Yeah! Let's go.
And Oklahoma calls timeout. LSU by one.
Stay set. Stay set.
Williams for three from the point. It's good. It's good. It's good. 4-point game. Oklahoma. Rosario blocks it. She's got
Go
it.
get your layup. Go get your layup.
Johnson to the hole. It's good.
Let's go.
And Oklahoma calls timeout.
It's crazy because we was literally up 24 points. I know Bear Booty and Wealth. I spoke about that, and I'm definitely wanting to go to that game. Tickets drop on the 17th, so I'm keeping my eyes open for that. I don't know what this is. Okay, I was looking for some more clips to highlight. Let me move it.
Presented by SoFi. 24 of the best players in the world. No, the universe pitted against each other 3 versus 3. 6 teams in a first of its
Ooh, I
kind
meant
arena.
to show y'all this. I think I'm gonna just save it for tonight. I have this other stream, and this is 8 minutes, but I'm gonna watch this for sure. I'm definitely gonna highlight this on my page. Bella is that girl, y'all. Bella Hunt is that girl.
Hey, let her cook. Okay. Too much cake out bad. Oh God, let her cook. All this sauce I'm trying. Let me cook.
Welcome to the ground. Asked to play basketball when she was probably in 5th grade. She always would play at the community center. One day she just said, "Mom, let me play," because she always played baseball. And I said, "Okay, we'll try it out." First practice, I went home and I told my husband, "She's pretty good. Let's let her play." First game ever, she dropped 28. So I was like, okay, she's playing basketball.
It's been amazing, the support that she gets, you know, from the local community, the basketball community, people coming up to us all the time and wishing her luck and telling us how they followed her journey. It's just really, really exciting for her to have the opportunity to grow and then our community be behind her and push her, you know, on this journey and support and post and show up and wear her jerseys. It's all really just cool, man. It's an amazing place to come from. We love it here.
Shoot, it's amazing, honestly. I mean, knowing that I'm one of the few only active high school athletes to be a part of Jordan means absolutely everything to me. It's like a
did it in dramatic fashion, winning an epic Game 5 at home against the Lynx in OT. That was 2024. Now the Liberty look ahead to 2025 in hopes of becoming the 4th team to repeat as champs. For more on the future of New York's team, let's check in with Holly and Alexa.
Okay, so what they have to do is share the ball. So we're going to share the ball over here. They've got so many superstars that's what they've got to figure out here in free agency. You've got to drop the phone. She's waiting for the big Satu call. But for New York, this is important. Brianna Stewart is that superstar who is willing to take less money to make sure that other players are signed, whether it's Jonquel Jones or in this case, if they're going to make a play at Satu Sabally. I like that sign of a superstar that is unselfish. All she cares about is winning. They've also got some incredible talent around them. Don't forget Rebecca Gardner coming off that Achilles. They have her in the roster. Maureen Johannes will come back from France. A lot going on with the New York Liberty.
Yeah, I think those two players that you just mentioned with Maureen Johannes and Rebecca Gardner, those weren't part of that championship-winning squad last year. So it's kind of scary if they do manage to keep those growth players there, that could be an extra level to New York. And they also, I think, want to keep Kennedy Burke too. So she's a free agent. We'll see if she ends up in New York too.
Kennedy Burke, a big piece of that championship game. Niara Sabally, of course, rising up. And don't forget Leonie Fibish, I thought one of the best stories in the WNBA last year. New York wants sustained excellence, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to make sure they stay on the mountaintop. Christine?
Thanks, Holly. They're so cute in their pink. Okay, so this is very interesting for the Liberty. Janae, what would Satu bring to New York if she were to sign with the Liberty?
Rebecca knows this space. She's Lady Liberty here. I just think of the song. She's a brick. Like not the actual bricks, but more importantly, it's the fact that they could build a wall.
Right.
They're going to be 6'6", 6'4", 6'3", 6'4", and Sab. Which is really crazy. They could be one of the most skillful, long, athletic, lean, run and gun teams in the WNBA. But what makes her special is the name, the Unicorn. She can score from inside and out. Watch this right here. Basically, initially playing point guard, gets downhill and is able to make the layup. But also, she's a great three-point shooter. I mean, you send two with the ball. Instead, she's so smart at spacing back. And that's just a quick release. Lucky lefty. So you think about the situation, she adds to the champs an all-star caliber player, someone that can defend, someone that adds length. The rich get richer.
Yeah.
That's what it is. The rich get richer, potentially.
Rebecca, I know this is your squad. What do the Liberty need to make another title run this season?
I think they have all the pieces in order to make a title run. They've kept everyone who started for them throughout the course of the playoffs. Holly mentioned Niara Sabally. Remember how impactful she was, in particular in Game 5 of the WNBA Finals. I think they have all of the pieces that they need. And so then if they were able to add Satu Sabally, it adds depth. It adds even more versatility. The one question would be, with Courtney Vandersloot leaving, what kind of depth they have at the point guard spot. But their versatility, their starting lineup, if they stay healthy, without question, to me, the New York Liberty are the favorite to repeat as champions this year.
It'd also be so fun to watch her play with her sister. You got to do that.
Yes, it's the best thing you can do, honestly.
Yeah. I can imagine. All right, so we know who's moving on or who could go to New York, but who's moving on? That is free agent guard Courtney Vandersloot. She's expected to sign with the Chicago Sky on a one-year deal. Sloot played for the first 12 seasons of her career in the Windy City, where she became the Sky's all-time leader in assists. Now, Courtney Vandersloot is an ultimate floor general and brings much-needed experience to the Sky backcourt for the first-time head coach Tyler Marsh. Sloot looks to help the ball movement in Chicago as they enter their second year of the Skyscraper Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso. And with that, we now welcome in two-time champion, five-time All-Star, and five-time All-WNBA guard, Courtney Vandersloot. Sloot, why
Sloot
did you
is here
decide
for
to
a
return
live
to Chicago?
interview. Okay.
I think it was just a good time for me to go back to where it all started. I'd made a lot of noise in Chicago when I was there, and just where I'm at in my career, it seemed like Chicago was the right place.
Okay, so I just mentioned them. Angel Reese, Camila Cardoso. How excited are you to play with these girls who are in their sophomore season?
Yeah, having two post players like that, young stars, is a point guard's dream. It played a big part in why I want to go there. I think that adding them to the roster last year was huge, and I'm looking to help them expand their game, but they're going to make me great too.
Obviously, you're bringing a lot of veteran experience as well, because we just mentioned those two very young players. What role do you expect to play on this team?
Yeah, just that. Get back to being who I am and the floor general. I want to be a great leader for them and, help them learn what it takes to win in this league.
I want to just say Holly Rowe and Alexa Philippou say hello. They were saying that a little bit earlier. I don't know if you could hear them. So hello from both of them.
Hello.
Good to see you, Sloot. Thank you so much for joining the show. So as we know, Sloot, she's back in Chicago. Rebecca, Chene, as former bigs in this league, you guys know how important it is to have a very good guard. And we know that Sloot is that. Rebecca, how will she help Angel Reese in the Sky?
Well, yeah, every post player wants to have a guard that can get them the basketball. But what Chicago really, really needs is some shooters to space the floor. The best gift you can give to your big player is a shooter to give them room in the paint. And that's what Chicago was lacking last year, and that's still what this roster really needs. Angel Reese can operate in the paint, as can Camila Cardoso. They proved that a year ago. They're relentless on the glass. They can score inside. Sloot will get them the basketball when they're open, but they need some shooters to give them that space so that the defense can't just come collapse and double team them when they do touch it inside.
Yeah, most importantly, I think they need some stability at the guard position. It's kind of been a revolving door when it comes to Chicago Sky guards. And one thing about Sloot, I played against her when she was at Gonzaga, y'all. She was a problem, and nothing has changed. Some of these numbers, her teammates shot 45% off of her passes. Can you imagine Angel throwing it up there now, increasing to 50 to 60%? Camilla, like, you've got some of the best targets in the game. And also, Sloot has led the W in assists 5 separate seasons. Someone that can go out there, again, we have first-time head coach Tyler Marsh out there as well, right? To have someone that can work with your coach and really help you be that stable force as a point guard to shape what the future of this franchise is from an offensive perspective. I think Slooty is as good as it gets to have that running mate, like that coach on the floor for them.
She's a veteran. Yeah. She now brings championship experience, so she knows what it takes to get it done. So how does that impact the Sky's future? You were just talking about their future and what that means.
They still have quite a long way to go. They still have quite a long way to go. But one thing I do look forward to, and I can hear Rebecca sigh, because we all know what the reality check is. They've got a way to go, but the way you do it, and I'll go back to my rookie year, it was myself, it was Alyssa Thomas and a number of other rookies, and we really looked for that guard to help us make decisions on the floor because we were post players. And to be able to have someone walk in there that, I mean, one thing I know about Angel Reese is she soaks up as much information as possible. Yeah. Look at her on Unrivaled. Right. You see videos of her training with Lisa Leslie. One thing we always talk about in the league is her curiosity to really get to know. She talked to Skylar Diggins on her podcast. She really soaks in information. No better source of that than Courtney Vandersloot to really help them move forward in the future.
Rebecca?
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Chene. And also, when you look at a team like Chicago, and there's a lot of teams in the league this year who are bringing in new coaches, what are they trying to do? They're trying to establish culture. And especially when you have some dynamic young players that you're going to build your franchise around, you want to bring in a great leader and a great teammate. And Courtney Vandersloot is absolutely one of those things, or both of those things. So she can help Tyler in this year because this is going to be a building year for Chicago. And maybe even having Sloot will lure some other pieces to come play in Chicago. But you're not just building your roster, you're building your culture, and Sloot is a terrific culture piece.
Yeah, she's going to be huge. Just the veteran side alone and her veteran leadership that she's going to be able to bring to that Chicago Sky team is going to be a large, large impact. All right, here are some notable free agents that we're still waiting to see make their decisions. We see some champs, some MVPs, some all-stars, a really good group for 2025. More on the other side as we close.
Hey, twin.
Chicago.
Hey, sister.
Yeah, every other team that has a new coach, they are.
NBA free agency special is brought to you by AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
During a rebuilding year, no chance. And let me show y'all some Divine
When you
highlights.
think about it,
Are you coming home?
I'll be there.
Divine Barrage. Subbed from the McDonald's game. I'm gonna wake that up this week though, because I found some articles that's listing her as the #1 person that was snubbed from the McDonald's All-American game, and right under that, Bella Hines is #2. So 2 of them made it, and 2 of them are the top 2 snubs from the game. If you don't know who this is, her name is Divine Barrage. She is a signee of the 2025 LSU class, so she will be in Baton Rouge this fall. This photo is super cute with that shiny ref. I worked hard in that game, bro. I worked hard.
LSU and the Oklahoma Sooners. Inside to Kimura. She dribbles, has it knocked away, got it back, leans in, lays it in.
All right,
it
let's get
counts and a foul. Williams will pull up three. That one's good. Left wing.
Ready or not. Tomorrow showing off a little range.
Top of the key, Johnson. Wide open three. It's good.
Good job. That's a good job by Flaugier to focus on the shot. I don't even know if she was fouled, but put your shot in.
She's got 11 and she steals it and saves it to Day Wilson. Up ahead, Johnson. Layup.
Let's go. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a sophomore. Let me introduce you to Michaela Williams. Will and deal with the finish. Number 12.
Right corner, Williams. A three from the corner. It's good.
The Golden State Valkyries have named Natalie Nakase as their head coach.
I'm going to pour all my energy and my heart and my soul into this organization. I just can't wait to build a championship team.
This is where Anissa going, y'all. Anissa is about number 5.
We now welcome in our basketball reporter, Kendra Andrews. So, Kendra, we've been very jealous because you spent a lot of time down in Miami covering Unrivaled for us. What can you tell us about how that league is having an impact on the WNBA and free agency?
Yeah, Christine, I think Ramona said it at the top of our show. Next year, we should have our show out in Miami because that's where a lot of these conversations are happening. The players, it's kind of like the WNBA bubble where they're all just so intertwined. They can have really, really blunt conversations. Satu Sabali, a huge talking point for us today. She told me, I can ask the most honest questions here and get the answers I'm looking for from my peers, whether that's what kind of resources does this team have? What's your facility like? What kind of investments are your owners making in this team? And she said, I can really form my opinions and answers based on the honest truth. And then, of course, we have a lot of recruiting. Sabrina Ionescu said, yeah, I'm going to be taking Satu out for coffee. And Brianna Stewart told me she could look good in that New York teal. And now we see that the Liberty are really in play for Sabali. So a lot of those conversations are happening in Miami for sure.
And we talked earlier this week, me and Kendra, about what Satu wanted. And she wants a nice arena. She wants the facilities, and talking to New York and figuring out what they have up there is very important for that conversation. You're also locked in with the Golden State Valkyries. What is their approach to this free agency period?
Yeah, Christine, the Valkyries entered this free agency really feeling that they were a desirable destination for free agents, and they were hoping to build out their roster through this period, but we're a couple weeks in and they haven't made any moves. You know, they've made pushes for names like Kelsey Plum, like Courtney Vandersloot, Brianna Jones, but they haven't been able to land anyone. You know, their hands, they're a little bit tied just in terms of when it comes to core players. They don't right now have the assets to make strong trade packages to get those players onto their team. And they're also a little frustrated that they have the 5th pick in the draft instead of something higher. So their options are just a little bit limited of what they can do. So right now they're kind of at this, let's say acceptance point where we might not be the most competitive team in our inaugural year. So let's just focus on getting in the game, getting our franchise up and running. And then 2026, right, when everyone is a free agent, we can make a lot of moves then.
All right. Very excited to see what Natalie Nakase does with this squad. Thank you so much, Kendra. So here's what we know at the moment. The big dominoes have started to come off the board. Jewel Lloyd, Kelsey Plum, Alyssa Thomas, all changing teams via trade. Perhaps the most shocking move is BG to Atlanta and Natasha Howard heading back to the Fever. But what we are still waiting for is the unicorn sighting with Satu Sabali. We're back with the entire squad. Everybody at the desk right now. So a lot has happened. We've gone through a lot, guys. We're throwing everything at you guys.
Wait until next year.
So Janae, when you think about the biggest, I know it's insane. When you think about the biggest free agent that is still available, who do you think that is?
That has to be Satu, right?
Yeah.
Satu Sabali for obvious reasons. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to throw out there Dewana Bonner. Everybody I talked to said that she has had a lot of different suitors. I do think Satu's the biggest, but Dewana Bonner is somebody not to sleep on. She is a WNBA champion. She's got championship pedigree. She's somebody that a lot of people are interviewing and talking to.
I do have a little bit of little news in terms of free agency for a few other teams. Natisha Heidemann was a highly sought after free agent, bringing that point guard experience. She's actually expected to stay in Minnesota, which is really exciting for the WNBA finalists. Mariam Badian is someone, I don't know if I got the French perfectly right. Holly would probably know better than I would. She's expected to also be coming over for the Lynx too, so they'll have a little bit more depth in the front court as well. But they're a team that didn't want to make any major changes to because of how well that chemistry worked on that Lynx squad. Keep an eye on Chicago. I'll just say they're entertaining offers to maybe trade that number 3 pick if they get the right deal. They want to surround Courtney Vandersloot with the right talent to really take advantage of the fact that she's coming home and that they have that talented piece on their roster. So.
Okay, I bet that's Rebecca Lobo's dog.
I was going to say, I like Rebecca's dog. What's in this conversation?
That is the perfect cue.
They some big
No,
dogs.
that is the biggest cue for right now, though, because somebody we have not talked about is a big dog. Dejanay Carrington. Don't be surprised if Dejanay.
There it is.
That's
why she's a Hall of Famer right there.
On the move.
She's a restricted free agent.
Yes,
obviously.
but there's some trades.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll see exactly what happens there. Let's talk a little bit more about the Wings. Rebecca, you want to get on this conversation? I just feel like we should include you in this.
And
what direction should the Wings go if they lose Satu?
Well, obviously, with the number 1 pick, you expect them to get Paige Beckers in the upcoming WNBA draft. It'll be interesting if they are able to move Satu Sabally. You would expect that it would be a 3-team trade and that they would get something really desirable in return. One of the things I want to make sure to mention, though, last year during free agency, the sexiest moves were made by Seattle when they got Skylar Diggins-Smith and Nneka Ogwumike, and by Phoenix when they got Natasha Cloud and Kalia Copper. But the most important and impactful moves was what Minnesota did when they got Alana Smith and Courtney Williams.
True.
Those were championship moves. They weren't nearly as sexy, but they helped Minnesota get to the right place, get a couple of foul calls away from winning a WNBA championship. So sometimes as we're really focused on the shiny objects, it's the right fits that become really important. And to go back to Dallas, Paige Becker's there. When you have Arike Ogunbowale, can they get pieces when they trade Satu that can really complement those players and give them a huge jump? It wouldn't be a championship jump, but a huge jump.
Well, look, I think that Dallas is what we're going to be talking about next. Like, when you get married and people go, when are you going to have a baby?
Never done that.
Like, we're doing free agency and we're talking about the draft next year. And Paige Beckers obviously is the she will be the number 1 pick if the Dallas Wings take her there. But listen, everybody's signing 1-year deals because of the new CBA that's out there.
Yeah.
Well, college players who make 7 figures also have to think about whether or not it is good for them to go into this draft this year. And we're going to be talking about that the rest of this spring.
Janae.
Get to Nneka. Come on. What are we doing?
That's what I was going to say. Janae,
where's she at?
I'm calling her right now.
Like, literally, she's in there as big sis.
I love it. She's actually calling Nneka right now.
Come on.
She might be on a plane.
10 seconds.
I think she's on a plane. Hey, we're live, so don't say anything crazy, but just tell everyone hi.
Nneka Ogwumike, breaking news right here on the WNBA free agency special.
No decision yet, y'all. That's what she just said. No decision yet.
All right, guys.
Here in Central New Jersey, we took
guys at 6:15 p.m. my time, 7:15 p.m. Eastern to watch Angel Reese's Rose BC Club. I didn't have time to set up the stream right now, but I will be streaming it. So you can look out or set your notifications. Make sure you subscribe. Join the memberships if you guys want to watch LSU women's basketball with us and some other things that we stream. Have a great day, and I'll see you at 6:15 p.m. Central Time.